We start with the third part of the first chapter, verses 24 till 36. We will hear in this section how Arjuna is a soft-hearted devotee, and his heart becomes overwhelmed with compassion, and he forgets himself when he sees his relatives before. He becomes fearful due to the material conception. He falls into the material conception of life. And he will argue. He will come up with arguments. He will say, I will not be able to enjoy a kingdom when I win it at the cost of the lives of my family members. And he will argue with Krishna and will say, yes, I will get simple reactions by killing my family members, because this is in the Dharma Shastra. So he becomes a Pandit. He starts to quote Shastras. He will, but then there's Artha Shastra, which said that those who are transgressing, those who are there are 6 kinds of transgressors. That one who puts one's house on fire, and one who takes one's possessions, or bothers one's wife, and so many things. And these men deserve to be killed. That's in Shastra. But then Arjuna will argue, so no, Dharma Shastra is higher than Artha Shastra. Anyway, we will hear his arguments. So we will start with text 24. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudev. Panja Vacha Evam Mukto Rishikesho Buddha Krishna Bharata Janya Ubayo Madhye Sthapaitva Tuttanam. Arjuna said to the son of Bharat, having thus been addressed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna drew up the fine chariot in the midst of the armies of both parties. So Krishna executes the order of Arjuna, but Krishna has something in mind. So see. On the battlefield, a vast multitude of armed warriors. They are standing on both sides, ready to get into the war, into the combat. And Arjuna is positioned on one side and is requesting Krishna, may you put the chariot in the middle of this. But surprisingly, there is a front line of more than 60 miles. And Krishna directs and puts the chariot right before Vishnu and Deland. and they hold a special place in Arjuna's heart. This was Krishna's strategic move, and it's part of his divine plan. So in this verse, Krishna is referred to as Rishikesh, master of the senses. No. Although Krishna is the controller of the senses, he allows to be controlled by Arjuna. That Arjuna's by sense of speech orders Krishna. Position the chariot between the two armies. And by his loving influence, Krishna, even though it's Rishikesh, ultimate control of the senses, executes Arjuna's order. But Sanjay is addressing Arjuna as Buddhakesh, Buddha. Buddha is one meaning in Sanskrit is a control of sleep, but it can also mean the controller of ignorance or sweetness. Akesh refers to Lord Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, incarnations representing the three modes of nature. Does the name suggest that Arjuna is receiving the sweet affection of these divine personalities? Their combined power is incapable of countering someone like Arjuna, who through his speech controls the supreme control of Krishna. So, but one who receives the sweet affection of the guna avatars, Shiva and Brahma. The Prabhupada concludes in his commentary, a devotee can conquer sleep and ignorance by cultivating Krishna consciousness or samadhi and constant absorption in thoughts of Krishna. But like Mother Vendapuri, we heard few days. It's the Chandan Yatra festival. And there you have the story of Mother Vendapuri, who came to Govardhan. That it was a pilgrimage. Not Govardhan, he was fasting. That he had a policy, I will only accept food if it comes on its own accord. So he was fasting. And then a young boy comes to him and says, "Oh, we have seen that you are here and you are fasting, but in my village nobody fasts. So my mother has sent you with a pot of milk. So please take this milk." And the boy disappeared. Then he took the milk and he was chanting the whole night, Hare Krishna mantra. But through the morning he was dozing, and he got a dream of Gopal. Gopal was hidden in the bushes near to Govardhan, because out of fear for the Muslims, the pujaris had slept in there. And in the dream of Mother Vendapuri, Gopal comes say, "I'm here since a long time, and it's very hot here. So please, I'm there." And he showed in the dream where he was. "Please come and save me." And then next morning, he went to the villagers, explained the dream, and they went to the place and they found the deity, and the Mother Vendapuri installed the deity. But he is also Buddhakesh. He was dozing a little. And then when he was dozing, he was dreaming of Krishna. So that Buddhakesh also is great devotees. Also, the six profound they were sleeping throughout the night. As Rishikesh, the director of all beings, senses and minds, Krishna comprehends Arjuna's intention behind placing the chariot in the midst of the arms. He maneuvers accordingly and proceeds to speak the following words. It's noteworthy that Rishikesh also possesses an understanding of Arjuna's internal state, adding to the intrigue to the situation. Now with 40 miles of soldiers, here it says 40 miles of soldiers arrayed on the Kurukshetra battlefield, the stage is set for the imminent conflict. Well, interesting. Krishna knows what we are thinking. This is the cause of our thinking. That so he knows the state, the mental state of Arjuna. And he knows there's a problem. And he wants that problem to come out. And he therefore puts the chariot right in the between the middle of the two armies before Drona and Vishmadeva. And then Krishna says to Arjuna, Vishmadona pramukhatha sarvesham sama maishitam uvacha partapashaitan samavetam romiti. In the presence of Bhishma, Drona, and all the other chieftains of the water lords, just behold, part all the Gurus assembled here. There's like Baldev Vidyabhusha and there's oh behold, part, see, you want to make friends. But yes, 25 said Krishna purposely positions the chariot directly up in front of Bhishma and Drona among all possible locations on the battlefield. He's well aware of Arjuna's deep attachment to his grandfather, whom he holds dear, and with whom he shares cherished childhood memories. Arjuna would sit on Bhishma's lap as a child, receiving his blessings. Similarly, Drona as a school holds a significant place in Arjuna's heart. Krishna brings the chariot before them because he understands Arjuna's intense love for them. However, Krishna also knows that Arjuna fears them, recognizing their unrivaled prowess as the most formidable warriors present. By deliberately placing Arjuna in front of Bhishma and Drona, Krishna seeks to ignite the confusion and turmoil within him. He anticipates Arjuna's impending state of distress as he keenly senses its arrival. It is in this capacity as Rishikesh, the master of the sun, that Krishna acts. Hence he tells Arjuna, just behold, Bharat, all the Gurus assembled here. While Krishna refers to them simply as Gurus, they are not merely Gurus, they are Bhishma and Drona. Krishna fulfills Arjuna's desire to see them, allowing them to witness their presence. Prabhupada highlights the significance of Bhakti, which denotes Arjuna as the son of Pritha, the sister of Vasudeva, Krishna's own father. Krishna reminds Arjuna that due to their familial relationship, he had agreed to be his charioteer. However, Krishna implies that upon seeing his kinsman, Arjuna will soon lose his desire to fight. Krishna questions the purpose of Arjuna's desire to behold the armies, suggesting that it serves no practical use. Prabhupada clarifies that Krishna never expected such a plea from the son of Pritha. Krishna wonders why Arjuna, after their journey from Dwarka specifically to engage in the battle, now desires to abandon the fight. Krishna comprehends the thoughts and the dilemma arising in Arjuna's mind, leading him to address the mother further and further in the next verse. So, for us, there are important points to learn that, like, suppose I have the power to show you a picture from your previous life. In this life, you are a man. In the previous life, you were a woman and 10 sons, and I show you the picture. What will it say to you? Nothing. It's all gone. But in the previous life, you were very attached to your sons. And now where is your attachment? Where is your attachment? Do you understand the futility of all these relationships in this life? That it will end. All these attachments are for nothing. There's something to learn. That we went to millions of lives. We had so many fathers and mothers. Are we still concerned with them? It's all gone. That Krishna consciousness means seeing the bigger picture. We see this life. Let's just save life. But then the person dies anyway a few years later. Because you have to die. You cannot save anybody. But and Srila Prabhupada will explain that here in Bhagavad. What is violence? Violence is not trying to make someone else Krishna conscious. That's violence, because this person has to take birth again, has to die, get old, and so on. Arjuna is concerned, is he Vishnu for him? And he feels so much affection. He does not want him to die. He would rather give his own life. But it is all body concept of time. It's in other words, someone who don't know the values of life. Values of life, we are the consciousness, we are eternal. We are certain of Krishna. And we have to stop this birth, death, old age, and disease. Go back to the spiritual world where we belong. That is the message from Bhagavad Gita. That does not mean that all these temporary relationships we have are there. That's right. We have to act out of duty. The son or the daughter has to give respect to the parents. That must be there. But Krishna consciousness means we have to transfer our attachment to Krishna. And Krishna is our eternal friend. It's in our heart. We can have that relation now. See, Arjuna is very fortunate. He has a direct relationship with Krishna. He has realized this relationship with Krishna. He's a pure devotee. But Krishna brings them under Yoga Maya, the spiritual energy, in illusion, to act as someone of us in the conditioned state of mind. Good. Now, text. So Krishna, he knew why Arjuna was asking him to be placed between the two arms. Therefore, he told Arjuna the whole course that. So he's anticipating. He knows Arjuna deep in his heart does not want to fight because of his bodily attachment. Text 26, 27. There, Arjuna could see within the midst of the armies of both parties, his father, grandfather, teacher, maternal uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, and also his father-in-law and well-wishers. When the son of Kunti, or Arjuna, saw all these different traits of friends and relatives, he became overwhelmed with compassion and spoke thus. Here. See? So, he became overwhelmed with compassion. The word used here for compassion is kipaya. Another word that conveys the meaning of compassion of mercy is daya. But although both words mean compassion, there is a subtle difference. Daya is more compassion in a general sense towards all beings. Shiva Daya, compassion for all jivas. While Kripa refers specific mercy directed towards compassion for an individual. For individuals, in this context, the word Kripaya is used. Arjuna is feeling compassion specifically towards his immediate relatives who are present before him. So, his compassion is not general for everyone. Arjuna is becoming acutely aware of his personal relationships with these individuals like Bhishma, Drona, his teacher. So therefore, his chariot was put right in front of them. He sees his revered teacher, his beloved grandfather, and it steers his heart, evoking deep emotions. This concludes the introduction of 27 verses of Bhagavad. This section that we went through now is called the preparation for war. It sets the stage of Arjuna's inner dilemma and unveils the thoughts occupying his mind. From verse 28 now in this chapter to verse 10 in the second chapter, Arjuna will tell Krishna, I don't want to fight. I don't want this war. And he becomes reluctant. And he will give 5 reasons to fight. So, in Srila Prabhupada's commentary, he provides examples and elaborates on each of the categories mentioned. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada emphasized that on the battlefield, Arjuna could see not only his enemies, but also his friends among the opposing armies. Additionally, Krishna addresses Arjuna as Bhakta, referring to his relationship as a son of Prithra, Kunti. So Krishna's intention is to highlight Arjuna's desire to seize relatives and acquaintances, urging him to behold them with a broader perspective. He does not want to kill Vishmadev. But even if it doesn't, even if he does not kill Vishmadev, will Vishmadev not die? No, everyone is. And Vishmadev has an old body. It's very old. When he dies, he will get a new body, a fresh new body. That's good news. This old body is useless. So one must learn to see the bigger picture. The bigger picture. That it's like, I don't know, someone has ever made a jigsaw puzzle, all the pieces. But with one piece, you don't see the whole picture. So Arjuna see one piece, this life, this moment, and this situation, but he didn't see the big picture. Krishna consciousness is the big picture, seeing the big picture. So he doesn't see that. Okay? Yes, yes, that's true. That he got a boon to die when he wanted. That's true. And he will desire to leave his body before Krishna. But he was not afraid to die. He knew he had to die, but he could choose the moment. There's a difference. That he had his freedom because he was Deva Brata. He made his vow for his father. Santana, I think, father. Santana, who wanted to marry, what was her name? And, yeah. He's, yeah. So he made that vow because that was a condition of the, yeah, she was a daughter of a fisherman. Sometime became attached to her. But then the father said, no. The sage has predicted that her, um, her sons will become the king emperor. Then, but you have already a son, so that will not become true. And he could not marry her. Ishmael. He, he made a terrible vow not to marry. And then later he had to fight with Parsuram about it. But it's an exceptional personal text 26. Mm-hmm. 28 till 30. The latest 3 verses. Arjuna Vacha Krishna Svajna Krishna Yutsam Samo Vastita Siddhanti Mama Kathani Mukansa Parisustyati. Arjuna said, my dear Arjuna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. My whole body is trembling, my hair is standing on end, and my bow and diva is slipping from my hands. I'm now unable to stand here any longer. I'm forgetting myself, and my mind is reeling. I see only ghosts of misfortune or Krishna, killer of the cage. That don't see. So there are 2 words used here in that last verse. That Nimittani and Viparitani. Nimittani means the causes, while Viparitani indicates the exact opposite. So Arjuna is seeing the causes of events that would lead to the opposite outcome of what he desired. He saw the death of his relatives. When one anticipating, engaging in an activity, then that's going to bring about the opposite you want. That you are feeling discouraged, you are lacking enthusiasm. Arjuna's mind was filled with these thoughts. And that is explained in Prabhupada's purport here. So this is of great importance because Arjuna is going to present various reasons why he shouldn't fight. And these reasons are, they will be religious, they will seem logical, but Prabhupada clarifies that they are not truly religious. Because real religion, which is explained here in Bhagavad Gita, is not easy to understand. In the letter of the Prophet, Srila Prabhupada explains the predicament of the conditioned souls in the material world. Self-interest becomes the focus. Self-interest. Arjuna's compassion of self-interest is about my relatives. The other die, okay, that I don't know them, but my relatives, self-interest, that it becomes a focus. One is concerned with their own welfare and possessions, my family. It's extended selfishness. In the beginning, it's mine, then it's my family, then it's my nation. It's all the same category. So one is concerned with that instead of serving Krishna, Supreme Self. Arjuna is in his contemplation, was considering his own perspective and neglecting Krishna's desire. That Krishna wanted him to help him to remove all these materialistic kings who tried to exploit the earth for selfish reasons. So this self-centered thinking is the cause of illusion. Prabhupada succinctly summarizes this predicament in his purport, highlighting how individuals selfishly pursue their own desires without considering Krishna's will. So that's our situation in this material world. That's why we are here. Why? Because it's body. We wanted to enjoy without Krishna. And that's not Krishna's desire. Therefore, if it's not Krishna's desire, it becomes material. We get these bodies, so many things. Imaging, enjoying this body. However, that Srila Prabhupada also says that Krishna is driving the chariot of Arjuna. And Arjuna possesses formidable weapons, but still he thinks I won't gain anything from the battle. Krishna will later reply to that answer. That yes, Arjuna, you will attain a kingdom. So now Arjuna, he will proceed to bring up all his justification for refusing engaging in warfare in this battle. The first reason, which was hinted already in verse 27, And now explicitly explained in text 28 that is compassion for his relatives. That's the first. So remember the word compassion. Compassion for his relatives. So Arjuna will provide 5 reasons, and Krishna will afterwards systematically counter them, each of these reasons. And that will be his teachings of the 2nd chapter and the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and throughout the entire book. Yes, there are 5 because the 5th is in the 2nd chapter beginning. So 5 dots and 4 dots in this chapter. That's all 4 reasons for not fighting this chapter. So Prabhupada commented that Arjuna's symptoms of distress were not a sign of weakness in text 28. Rather, is a manifestation of his tender-hearted nature, because he was a pure devotee. See that in the next slide. This here. It's a contradiction. In 28, he says, Arjuna's compassion stems from being a pure devotee. Now, in text 29, Prabhupada says something else. Now, let's examine Prabhupada's comments on this apparent contradiction. On one hand, he states that Arjuna's symptoms are driven by material fear, particularly the fear of losing his own life. On the other hand, Prabhupada also highlights Arjuna's soft-heartedness and attributes his symptoms to compassion rather than weakness. So how can we resolve that? To reconcile these seemingly opposing points, we need to understand the dynamics play. Arjuna, deep in his heart, is a pure devotee who genuinely feels compassion for all living beings. However, externally, he is currently under the influence of Maya, illusion. But this is yoga Maya, special. Krishna arranges that. It's not a Mahamaya, illusion on which we are. So under the influence of Maya, and his behavior is being filtered through the lens of Yoga Maya, divine illusion. As a result, his innate compassion is being distorted and manifested as material fear. That's what happens. It's good to remember this contradiction, how it's resolved. So in this context, Arjuna's role in the situation is driven by fear, as he's perceiving the imminent dangers of the battlefield. However, it is important to recognize that his fear is not reflective of his true nature as a pure devotee. It's unnatural to him. Krishna influences him by yoga. His compassionate feelings are still present within him, but they are overshadowed by the external manifestation of fear caused by the influence of Yoga Maya. In the next verse, Arjuna presents the second reason for not wanting to fight, which revolves around the concept of personal enjoyment. While the reason may not be regarded as elevated and appreciated in spiritual sense, it is nonetheless one of the reasons Arjuna puts forward. So that's text 30. Text 30, he presents his next reason. Nasanaknami avastatum Brahmati vasame madam Nimitan sapashanti Viparitani keshu. I'm not unable to, I'm now unable to stand here any longer. I'm forgetting myself, and my mind is feeling as the only cause of misfortune of Krishna, killer of the cage. So Arjuna expresses his perspective here by stating, as the only cause of misfortune, viparitani, which implies the opposite of enjoyment. I will not enjoy it. It's the opposite. I will get distressed, that's all. So he perceives that even if he were to win the battle and obtain a kingdom, it would not bring him happiness, but rather distress. This stands in direct contrast to the desires of enjoyment, victory, happiness, and fame. Instead, he sees the opposite of the outcome, causing him great concern. Prabhupada sheds light on the external feature of Arjuna's behavior, emphasizing his impatience and the resulting weakness of his mind. Excessive attachment to material things lead to a bewildering existence. An important sense. That's a warning for us. We are all attached, if we are honest. But don't create excessive attachment. The Bhagavatam warns about that. Fifth canto, there you have the story of Bharat Maharaj. Bharat Maharaj goes to the forest, he gives up his kingdom, everything, and he engaged in meditation, Krishna. And he has a sadhana, which is different than ours, but he has a strong spiritual practice. He became completely detached. He was nearly on the platform of love for Krishna. But then what happens? He feels compassion for a deer. And the deer, the mother is not there. His kshatriya nature comes out. He has to protect the deer. And his focus becomes the deer, taking care of it. And his mind becomes so attached. He's doing his sadhana, his rituals, but internally he's thinking on the deer. And it was excessive. He gave up his spiritual practice and became attached to the deer. That's what's happening. We have a sadhana. We are chanting 16 rounds of the Hare Krishna mantra. And we hear every day the scriptures. We engage in devotional service, all regulated principles. If you stop that, then the extreme attachment comes back. Dangerous, very dangerous. That attachment is there, but not at the cost of our spiritual life. That the deer was an animal. You cannot bring an animal to spiritual consciousness until they use this attachment. There's a difference between taking care and becoming attached. That is something we have to learn. That karmani vadakaras in our relation and attachment. We should act out of duty without attachment. That our attachment should be professional. So, yes.
Why is Jodabari focused on the fear and the piece of Krishna, like Krishna inviting fear with the victim?
If he would have seen Krishna in the heart of the deer, it would have been Krishna. But there are other motives. then what do you call it? Kshatriya. Kshatriya is notice, I have to protect others and taking care of them. He was forgetting Krishna. That, that's and
So, what I was practicing Asami Yoga, or practicing Jnana Yoga, or
it was another age. It was another age. You have 4 ages and 4 different practices. In Satya Yoga, the practice is meditation. Treta Yoga, the process is sacrifices. And in Dvapara Yoga, it's deity worship. In Kali Yoga, is a chanting of the holy name. We are not qualified to explain. But he was doing sacrifice. So it seems to be Treta Yoga, but also he was also doing meditation. That's was another age, another sadhana. Our sadhana of Kali Yoga is chanting. Yeah. Yeah, the attachment. Because Krishna consciousness means change your attachment, desire is attachment. That's what the soul does. And that's where you go according to our attachment. That we will learn in the 8th chapter. So the devotees learns very much to observe his consciousness and what is attached. But the purpose is that we accept the spiritual master. And by accepting a spiritual master and following his teachings, that's then when you accept the spiritual master, he's teaching you and you start to see everything in relationship with Krishna. And that Krishna is we are all part of Krishna. And Krishna is in the heart of everyone, in every soul. So you learn to see only Krishna. Because it's only Krishna in this world. But we don't see Krishna. Because of what's the problem? In our consciousness, we have separated ourselves from him. And that's the only problem. But that's a serious problem. Yes.
So, here for the year, but they that here might. So, if you were to have children, how would you write yourself having an accident?
And therefore, if we study the Bhagavatam, Queen Kunti, she's praying to Krishna. Please cut his attachment for my kinsman, for my cut his attachment. In the purpose of Prabhupada, feeling affection for someone else is not good. Queen is not praying to take away this attachment, but that she prays to take away the material part of the attachment. That is thinking that these Pandavas are my sons. No, they are souls, part and parcel of Krishna. And as a parent, you must see this is not my child, this is Krishna's child. And Krishna has given me the service to take care of it, to make it Krishna conscious. And then you can do your service without material attachment. Material attachment causes lamentation, illusion, and fear. You become frustrated so many things. But then that is not there. But that's not easy to attain. We must purify our heart. And follow the process very seriously. It takes 30, 40 years at least to purify the heart. It's a gradual process. You will learn that in nectar of devotion. A gradual process. But as long as we are serious, we will make progress. It's slow, this progress. I'm 30 years in the progress. I can tell you the process works. But you have to be patient. You need 3 things, and that you will learn in nectar of instruction. Utsaha, Nisya, Dayat. Enthusiastic in Krishna consciousness. Utsaha, Nisya, faith. And Dayat, patience. It doesn't happen overnight. But it goes quite quick. 30 years. Millions of years we have been attached. In 30 years you can solve the problem. These things we have to learn. That we are on the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. A lot to learn. Okay? Yeah.
I think it's a question of attachment because when a person is so old, still attached, it is although the kids, according to Srila Prabhupada, what he says, is, although your kids are devotees, still try to detest and try to renounce others of that kind. But some lot of people I see they cannot go away from your home. Is it kind of internally having some kind of deep attachment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We must really share with them. We will discuss that in the 4th chapter. But you have to do 4 things every day to stay on the path. Change your rounds, follow the regulated principles, hear every day the Bhagavatam, and do service for Krishna every day. If you do these 4 things every day, you remain on the path of purification. If you miss one, there's a problem, a serious problem. And that we will hear also in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that the difference is religion and there's knowledge. Knowledge without religion is dry speculation. Religion without knowledge is sentimental. We need not to hear about Krishna and about the devotees of the Bhagavatam, the pure devotees, daily, and associate with those who are spiritually advanced. Very important. Okay. Last question, because then we have to go on.
So for one Tuesday, I believe my son and daughter part of Krishna, but what would be an example of someone, like a practical example of how you would treat a child actually seeing them as part of Krishna rather than just your child?
A good practice is that you try to see all children equal, not just this is mine, this is my child, and I'm only concerned with them. You're also concerned with the others. Be equal to all children, and not just one child. That's important. Good. We continue. There's a lot to learn. So, Nimitani Viparitani. It means he's going to get the opposite enjoyment. text 31. Nasa Shreyana Pashami Hatapasva Jamaya Ave Akakshe Vicham Krishna Nasa Chamsukami. I do not see any good can come from killing my own kinsman in this battle, nor can I, dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness. So Arjuna is observing the dead bodies of his kinsmen. And he does not want to accept the kingdom, but if I have to pay such a price, that the Acharyas translate Krishna as the all-attractive, or the one who pulls others towards him. In this situation, Krishna is pulling Arjuna, influences thoughts, and creating the opportunity for the Bhagavad Gita to be spoken. So he brings all these, Krishna is factoring the cause of all these thoughts in Arjuna's mind, because Arjuna is a pure devotee. So Arjuna's response is rooting in his understanding of the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. He declares that he does not desire material things or the kingdom, as it should be ideally understood. His happiness lies in Krishna, not in external possession. He expresses his reluctance to fight, emphasizing that he does not seek victory, kingdom, or any happiness of state. Our text 20:32 till 35. O Govinda, of what avail to us our kingdom, happiness, or even life itself, when all those for whom we desire them are now arrayed on this battlefield, or not is Sudan, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, fathers-in-law, grandsons, brothers-in-law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me. Why should I wish to kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me, or maintainer of all living entities? I'm not prepared to fight with them, even in exchange for the three worlds, let alone this earth. What pleasure will be derived from killing the sons of Krita, Rashtra? So, there is Arjuna addresses here Krishna's Govinda. Govinda, Go means also the senses. One who gives pleasure to the senses. So it says, Krishna, you give pleasure to the senses. Why don't you please my senses? That you know what I want. That of course, when one tries to please Krishna, all your desires will be fulfilled. But by the grace of Krishna. So Arjuna told us, if I kill all my relatives, I get a kingdom, but I want the kingdom to enjoy with them. So what's the use? It's a typical material calculation. But as a devotee, Arjuna did not want to retaliate against his cousins. But what's the problem? Arjuna did not want to do that. He was a pure devotee, he didn't want to retaliate. But the others said, like Duryodhana and so on, as they had made offenses, they were transgressors, had made offenses to his devotees, and Krishna does not tolerate. Therefore, Krishna was determined and will finish them. And he had already done so. You will see that in the 11th chapter, universal form, he killed them all already. It shows Arjuna the future, what will happen in the future. So now text 36. And that's the next reason. Because here, yeah, these are the signs of victory that should have gone before. But that's, yeah, the first reason was compassion. Then we heard the next reason, no sense enjoyment, and now papam eva. He will say sin will overcome. 36. Papameva chachitasman advaitam attatainam tasmanachtavyam mantam daktarasham sabandavam vachanam mekatam matva sukhina syam bhatava. Single overcomers, if we slay such aggression. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the son of Vitarasha and our friend. What should we gain? Oh, Krishna, husband of the gods of fortune, and how could we be happy by killing our own kinsman? So Arjuna is arguing here, as the comment says to Krishna, it's in Dharma Shastra, if you kill your relatives, sin will overcome you. In Artha Shastra, it is said that aggressors should be killed. The Dharma Shastra is higher, so but what's the problem there? Higher and lower. That Krishna is given. And he presents the highest religion. The highest principle is pleasing Krishna. That overrides everything. He's forgetting Krishna. He's thinking in terms of Shastra. So he's saying, Krishna, sin will overcome us. But we will learn in Bhagavad Gita, if you are not acting for Krishna's pleasure, then you get karma. Then you get simple reactions, good or bad, it's simple reactions. That we will learn. There's good karma and bad karma in the 4th chapter. Sukarma, good karma, or vikarma, bad karma. But from the level of the soul, it's all bad. Because if you get good karma, then you get enjoyment in this world. You have to take birth for that and die again. Is that good? No. Good or bad karma, the devotee is not wrong. We are chanting Hare Krishna now. If we chant without offenses, then it destroys all our karma, good and bad, everything. So acting in Krishna consciousness is the only solution, no reaction. But Arjuna, he seems to be unaware of it. Krishna will therefore explain this in the 3rd chapter. That so Arjuna, he thought, yes, these material kingdoms and pleasures, it's impermanent. Why should I risk my life for getting something impermanent? It's a good consideration. That why should I kill my kinsman for that? But he's a Kshatriya. A Kshatriya is engaged in administration of the state. He should not be a coward. He should punish the aggressor. That is his function as a Kshatriya. Punish this sinful man. That, like a policeman must arrest thieves, those who transgress the law. And these schools transgressed all laws. They try to, and 6 kinds of transgressors. They try to burn the house. They try they took their wife away. That they tried to kill them in so many ways. That, but Arjuna is forgetting all this. That yeah. Now we are entering the last part, and there Arjuna will give his fourth reason for him to fight. Verse 37, 38. I read the translation. O Janardhan, although these men, their hearts overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one's family or quarreling with friends, why should we, who can say the crime in destroying family engage in these acts of sin? So we are coming to the fourth reason. So, because Arjuna, he was bound by moral codes to fight with Deland. But Arjuna could not accept the challenge because he could foresee the evil consequences of this fight, even though Duryodhana could not see them. So that is the devotee sees. He thinks about the consequence of what's going on. Many people think about, I'm going to enjoy now and forget the rest. But the broader picture is explained in Bhagavad Gita. You want to enjoy in this world? Okay. Krishna says in 5:22, if you want to enjoy, the result will be suffering. That's the result. That's the reaction of material nature. But you knows all these things. That, so, many more points here. That, but according to Shastra, the Kauravas deserve to be killed. But Arjuna is invoking higher Shastra. He argues that even though they are aggressors, it would still be simple to kill them because they are his relatives. Arjuna addresses Krishna Janardhan once again and highlights that their hearts are consumed by greed. He points out to the extent to which they are willing to go in order to seize the kingdom, even if it means killing every Kshatriya on the planet. They are not hesitating killing their own family members. Arjuna questions why they who can perceive the wrongdoing in destroying family should engage in such simple acts. He suggests that the Kauravas can proceed with their greed-driven actions if they wish, but he and Krishna know better. They are not interested in participating in this conflict. Arjuna proceeds to describe the horrors that unfold when a family is destroyed. The dynasties were incredibly powerful, and being born into the Kuru dynasty as a result of profound karma reserved for higher elevated souls. Ruling the world is not the role of an ordinary devotee. Prabhupada once explains that becoming the king of the world is for a Mahabharata. The Kshatriyas took pride in their family heritage and upheld the traditions of their lineage. If this family tradition were to be annihilated, it will have severe implications for the rest of the population. The kings were the pillars upon which the rest of society relied, and their absence would lead to great distress for the people. The rituals and sacrifices performed by the elderly members of the family which benefited both the ancestors, both the ancestors and future generations would see. This cessation could affect the future of the world. Arjuna argues tremendous adversity would ensue as a result. It is important to note the term Kulaksaya appears in each of these verses. You will hear that again, Kulaksaya. Then it represents the fourth reason, the destruction of the dynasty. Prabhupada comments in verse 38, obligation is binding when the effect is good, but when the effect is negative, no one can be bound, although someone may have a dense obligation. If the outcome is unfavorable, there's no obligation. However, if a vow or promise has been made, the situation may be different. The rules of Dharma are intricate and require deep understanding. Prabhupada explains that Kshatriya is not supposed to abuse battle or gambling when challenged by a rival party. Under such circumstances, Arjuna could not refuse to fight because he had been challenged by the opposing party led by Duryodhana. Arjuna considered that the other party might be blind to the consequence of their challenge, but he could foresee the negative consequences and thus rejected the challenge. Obligation is truly binding when the result is favorable, but when it leads to adverse outcomes, one cannot be obliged. Weighing these pros and cons, Arjuna decided to not to fight. So his mind is going from one point to another. And he considers on the basis of Shastra. Interesting. But Arjuna was a Kshatriya, and according to the codes of his profession, the moral codes, he had to fight with Duryodhana. But Arjuna said, I cannot fight because I see the evil consequences. Even though Duryodhana could not see that. But now further, text 39. Kulakshaya Pranashanti Kula Dharma Sanatana Dharmanastakulam Krishnama Dharmo Vibhavatsuta. With the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligion. So the Varnashram system, we will hear about that further in the fourth chapter. It's meant to elevate everyone in spiritual life. And elderly members of society are responsible for continuing that. If they are killed, the tradition is lost, and people will develop irreligious habits. So that's a quite deep thought of Arjuna. If I'm to participate in the irreligious act of killing my grandfather Bhishma and my guru Drona, what will be the consequences? The women of our family will perceive us, Arjuna, and other men as engaging in unrighteousness. And what will be the outcome of that perception? They will then feel justified in also embracing unrighteousness. Once the destruction of the dynasty occurs, Dharma will be lost, and Dharma will begin to prevail. This is the start. Text 40. Adharma Vivavat Krishna Patushanti Kulashriya Striyotustat Varshniya Jayate Vakasana. When irreligion is prominent in the family of Krishna, the women of the family become polluted, and from the degradation of womanhood, where the son of Krishna comes unwanted, fortunately. So I'm addressing you as a descendant of Krishna, because everyone is known by their noble lineage. How would you feel if your esteemed Krishna dynasty were to be destroyed in saying to Krishna? That is precisely what I foresee unfolding before my eyes. It is not worth it, Krishna. When the Dharma prevails, Krishna, the women of the family become polluted, and with their degraded Varna Sangha arises. Here, addressing Krishna's Bhaktiya, Arjuna questions, would you destroy your own dynasty, which is the Krishna dynasty? No, you wouldn't. So come on, Varshneyam. Why are you asking me to do this? The commentators elaborate that our women will perceive their husbands' irreligious actions and the destruction of the dynasty. Consequently, they too will adopt unrighteous behavior. Women are naturally inclined to follow the lead of their husbands. For instance, in India, when we started wearing pants instead of traditional dhotis, women eventually followed suit, and now even they ride scooters wearing pants. That's a commentary from Purnat Chandrama. He made that commentary in 10 years ago, 15 years ago. 10 years ago, we left this body in Moscow. Anyway, so this is opinion 41. Sankaro Narakai Bakulakam Kulashacha Patintu Pitao Yesandakta Pindotaka. An increase of unwanted population certainly causes hellish life both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. Ancestors of such corrupt families fall down because the performances for offering them food and water will be entirely stopped. That of course, Prabhupada makes that point. One who takes devotion service need not following the family traditions. Simply by performing devotion service to the Supreme Lord, all obligations to family, demigods, sages, forefathers, and humankind are fulfilled. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada refers to Srimad Bhagavatam 11.541. Devakshikutaptatinam Katrinam Nakim Karanayam Vinisharam Sarvatmanaya Saranam Saranam Katam Kundam Vayu. Anyone who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, the gift of liberation, giving up all kinds of obligation, and has taken the path in all seriousness, owes neither duties nor obligations to the demigods, sages, general living entities, family members, humankind, and forefathers. Such obligations are automatically fulfilled by the performance of devotional service to the personality of God. That so if one becomes a devotee and fully engaged in devotional service, no obligations anymore, but otherwise one better follows the principles of permission. Pranasham, that and the principles of Dharma Shastra so that is 14. Let's see. To the destruction of the family will lead to the accumulation of immeasurable sins for me. That's what Arjuna is thinking. I will be responsible for all this, what will happen in the future, he's thinking. The one responsible for such devastation. Moreover, the ancestors of such corrupt families will descend to lower realms, deprived of the customary pinda and shraddha offerings. So the son, after the passing away of the parents, offers the shraddha ceremony every year, and not of pinda. It's a whole system that. And even Lord Chaitanya, the Supreme Personality, forgot that himself went to Gaya to perform the Shraddha ceremony for his father. This exemplifies the significance of these rituals. We cannot dismiss them as superficial or irrelevant, claiming that as Vaishnavas, they hold no importance for us. These ceremonies are vital for the preservation of our culture and well-being of our ancestors who rely on these offerings to attain liberation from all forms of suffering. Consequently, the ill performance of these offerings is altered. Countless future generations will endure boundless suffering. By discontinuing the pinda offerings, ancestors will die in Pitra. Their elevated abodes will plummet to hellish realms, because the forefathers is a kind of demigod in this universe, and it is said that the pious forefathers, they go there and can remain there in a heavenly situation, enjoying as long as their descendants of this kingdom. That's the system. By discontinuing the pinda offerings, ancestors residing in Pitraloka, it's called Pitraloka, their elevated abode will plummet, they will go to hell from there. It is through these offerings that they are sustained and uplifted. Therefore, it becomes the duty of the descendants to diligently carry out the tradition of offerings, pinda, to their ancestors. But when you become a devotee, it's different. Then you don't have to do that. It's that we learn in the seventh canto, the Bhagavatam, Lord Nrsimhadev and Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj is praying to his father, please, I want only the liberation of my father. Was a great demon, he tried to kill him, but he's praying for his liberation. And Lord Nrsimhadev said, don't worry. If 21 generations of your family are already liberated. 21 generations. And Bhakti Saraswati Maharaj said, because you will learn that also in Nectar of Instruction. It's also in Nectar of Devotion. There are 3 levels of devotees. The beginner, Kanishta, the Madhyamadikar, who is midway, and the Uttamadikar, the highest, like Prahlad Maharaj. So the Uttamadikar gets 21 generations. That he said that, yeah, for the Madhyamadikar, it's less, I don't remember the exact number of Bhaktisiddhanta, but even a neophyte devotee, 3 generations are liberated. So we are not concerned with this now. But Lord Chaitanya did it. Give the example for the ordinary people. That, yes,
Yeah, I think.
okay. And, good. That was text 41. Yeah. 42, 43. Dosherita kulakyanam varna sankarakai utsatyantit shati dharma kuludharma sasaspada. By the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise to unwanted children, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities have devastated. Utsanakula dharmanam anushyanam sanathanam narake niyatam vasa bhavati te anushyanam. O Krishna, maintainer of the people, I've heard by disciplic succession that those families tradition are destroyed, those whose family tradition are destroyed, always dwell in hell. That was. So that is Arjuna is again referring to Sastri here. That, in the Varnashram system, there is a system where one must undergo atonement for simple activities before one dies, or else one goes to the hellish planets. Arjuna cites authority to support his argument that those who destroy family tradition go to hell. That's there. But again, for devotees, one who takes to devotion service, no need to follow this family tradition. Simply by performing devotion service, all one's obligations. But then you have to follow the process. Like I said, 4 things you remember to do. Chant by Krishna. Follow the 4 regulated principles. Hear the Bhagavatam and service. If you follow, then okay. But if you stop follow, your karma comes back. Be careful. Krishna say, oh, you stop, okay, give it back. And we have to be careful. But, if you willingly stop, otherwise, accident will happen. Yeah.
All others are also service, like hearing Bhagavatam.
Yeah.
So all others are also service. So particularly that 4th point, what would you suggest? Like
Yeah.
I do good to give.
Yeah, do some service. You can worship the deity. You can cook for Krishna. You can do some things for Krishna. And healing is also service. But of course, practical service. That's important. But if you do only service and you don't hear, then your connection with Krishna will not be strong. That makes it strong, the daily hearing about Krishna. But we learn by him. Yes.
Do you know at this point in time that Krishna is God, or you think that Krishna is just a friend?
Okay. Does Krishna know at this point in time that Krishna is God? He knows Krishna is God because even Krishna, when they were in exile, Krishna visited them. And there he expressed, yes, Krishna is very, that appears from there very much that they know Krishna is Supreme Person. we continue also that. So they were aware of that. But now it's under Yoga Maya. But in the 10th chapter, Krishna will give his back his memory. He will say Param Dhamma, Param Bhagavatam Idam Uttamam. Then
So, Yog Maya is it out of the people, like that time, Yog Maya and covering his intelligence.
yeah, Krishna let him take the position of conditions. So, and he removes his ignorance. His ignorance is caused by Yoga Maya, okay, but he removes it as Arjuna understands and accepts the knowledge about it. And he became fully Krishna conscious in 2 hours. But for us it takes a little longer. Because at the end of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tell now I told you everything. Krishna says, do what you wish to do. And one devotee said to me that is the instruction of Krishna. I follow always. Anyway, it's a joke. But he says that you do what you wish to do. And there Arjuna said, my ignorance is now completely gone. So it's recovered at that moment. But yes, it's all due to the Krishna's will that this is happening. Because we see also during the Battle of Kurukshetra, his son, Arjuna's son, will be killed, Abhimanyu. It's not that he's not affected. He's affected. But he's not giving up his service for Krishna. He's becoming more enthusiastic in his service. So it's different. That we are affected, but soon we let it go. And we concentrate on our service. So yes, good. Let's continue. Finish this part. So he's also saying, yes, the consequences of this will lead to annihilation of all welfare activities. So Arjuna is saying to Krishna, if you are responsible for maintaining the people, an island, then maintain me as well. And Arjuna says, I've heard from authorities passed down through the chain of disciplic succession. However, he fails to recognize that the personification of righteousness, Dharma, stands before him, gazing directly into his eyes. So all the arguments of Arjuna are religious, are righteous, are good, but they are all wrong. That it's like you have you come at a crossroad and there are traffic lights. There are traffic lights, and but that day there are traffic lights, but there is a police officer standing in the middle of the crossroad, and you come at the road, and the light is red, but the police officer says, "Oh, come. Who has priority? The lights of the police officer police officer. But Arjun comes out the light and the police officer says, come. And he's saying, no, it's red. That because Dharma Shastra is higher than Artha Shastra. But then Krishna, who is a police officer, he makes the law, he says, come. That's the problem. That therefore all the arguments are nice arguments, but they are all wrong. They are in the body concept of life. There's a higher principle, service to Krishna. He forgets his service of Krishna. Krishna says, you must help me. So I want Yudhishthira on the throne, a pure devotee, a Mahabharat. That. And he's forgetting that. Then 44. Ahobatam mahapapam kaktam vyavasitavayam yatra chasukadovena aham tubachanam shatam. Thus, how strange is it that we are preparing to commit really simple acts, driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness. We are intent of killing our own kinsmen. 45. Better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hand, were to kill me unarmed and unresisting on the battlefield. 46. Sanyaya Vacha, Evan Uktvayu Nasankya Ratak Pastel Pakshat, Vichya Svasaram Sapam, Sukha Samishna Manasa. Sanjaya said, Arjun, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief. So here Arjuna is casting away his bow that is 46. What is the meaning of casting away his bow? But I will read a story here from the Mahabharata. Now Arjuna, in an unprecedented turn of events, had set aside his bow. To comprehend the significance of this, it is crucial to understand that Arjuna had taken a vow to kill anyone who dared to suggest he put down his Kapiva bow. This is how deeply he valued it. On the battlefield itself, an incident occurred when Yudhishthira engaged in combat with Karna and suffered a severe defeat, leaving him injured and humiliated. Karna mocking Yudhishthira, belittling his fighting ability, stating that he was not even a true Kshatriya and he should learn how to fight. Karna, deeming Yudhishthira unworthy of being slain, spared his life and sent him back to his tent. When Arjuna learned of Yudhishthira's grievous injuries, he immediately left the battlefield and hurried to his tent to see him. Yudhishthira, upon hearing that Arjuna had left the fight to come to him, assumed that Arjuna had heard of Karna's actions and had already avenged him by killing Karna. Such was the nature of a Kshatriya. Yudhishthira never considered the possibility that Arjuna would have acted differently, and out of affection had already dealt with Karna. As Arjuna entered the room of his beloved elder brother, whom he held in high regard, and learned of his severe injuries, he had not engaged in the battle with Karna at all. Instead, out of deep concern, Arjuna had rushed to inquire about Yudhishthira's well-being. Yudhishthira, upon seeing Arjuna, immediately assumed that Arjuna had killed Karna and sought to vindicate his honor. However, Arjuna humbly confessed that he had not killed Karna and had come solely to check on Yudhishthira. This confession enraged Yudhishthira, who rebuked Arjuna for abandoning the battlefield and failing to eliminate Karna. Krishna even suggested that Arjuna should give up his Gandiva bow. Arjuna was troubled by this turn of events and wondered how to uphold his vow of killing anyone who dared to suggest he relinquish his vow. Seeking guidance, he approached Krishna and sought his advice. Krishna advised Arjuna to insult Yudhishthira, fulfilling his vow in a different manner. Arjuna, in a fit rage, approached Yudhishthira, highlighting his failure to protect Draupadi when she was insulted, declaring him lacking in manhood and kingship. In this way, Arjuna wounded Yudhishthira's pride. Immediately after doing so, Arjuna approached Yudhishthira, touched his feet, and begged him for forgiveness. He pleaded with Yudhishthira to pardon him for his harsh words. Thus this pastime unfolded. However, it is important to note that Arjuna had vowed never to set aside his vow, promising to kill anyone who even suggested it. Yet in the face of the distressing scenes before his eyes, which foretold immense disaster and bloodshed for his family and beloved teacher, Arjuna's mind became overwhelmed. He cast aside his bow and arrows, sat down on the chariot, and found himself consumed by grief. It is crucial to remember that this was Arjuna, not an ordinary individual. He was a pure-hearted Kshatriya, the son of Pandu and the son of Indra, and the burden of participating in the massacre weighed heavily upon him. So then we have this Varnashram. So we know in the Varnashram system we have four social orders: Kshatriya, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and the Sudras. And normally they marry within their caste. There are a few exceptions that, but when all these Kshatriyas, these millions of Kshatriyas will be killed, there will be so many widows. And these widows will be unprotected. And they will associate with men of other castes. And by that there will be children which become impure or mixed caste. And that's one sense of Paramashankara, one meaning. But there's another meaning. When a devotee conceives children, he does that on the basis of spiritual strength. So Prabhupada said before conceiving a child, one should stand 50 around. And one should be the Karbadana samskar, to invoke a good soul to take birth from you. So these are all Vaishnava rituals we perform. We have good children. The consciousness of the time of conception is important. And if that is not followed, but conception is done out of lust, it creates Paramasambhava. And that creates a population which is undesired, sense-enjoyment, enjoyers, without culture. And that's what we see today. And we see the state of this world today. It's all due to undesired children, according to the Vedic principle. Yes.
even the Asurus, like the Pradhan Maharaj, this case is special because the father is the demon and he got a children by Pradhan Maharaj. How come it is become?
Oh, that's in the Quran.
uh,
That so once I will tell you the story. Hiranyakasipu, he was with his wife. And, that day he had really a bad day because there was always a bird who came, a parrot. And this parrot was always repeating the words, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And the parrot was around Hiranyakasipu the whole day. He was always hearing this Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And he could not get it out of his mind. He didn't want it. But then in the night, he conceived the child with his wife. And still it was going into his head, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. By that, he was thinking in his mind of Krishna. He bought what he wanted. And then Prahlad Maharaj. So that was an accident. Anyway, I got also to know this later. Yes. But that's the story. Good. So we have 4 reasons till now. Who remembers the 4 reasons for not fighting? Compassion, that was the first. Sin, the second. No enjoyment. And Varnashankara. I'll give you also the 5th one. We will discuss tomorrow. Indecision. Good. Good. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to see you tomorrow. We'll try to go to the 2nd chapter, which is a summary of the Bhagavad Gita. Yes. Yeah.
For text 24, if Kale is dependent on Bhagavad, is having. So I just want to know, dependent on Bhagavad.
Yeah. The powers. I think so, but they are on the Bharat, sons of Bharat. I don't know. I have to show you. Yeah, Vyasadeva had 3 sons. Was a father could not get children. Vyasadeva didn't need one. And then there was Dhritarashtra was born. And Pandava was the other. And the third was Vidura. But where Bharat was before. I think they are all the sons of Bharat. But it's in the Bhagavatam. You can check in the Bhagavatam. All the dynasties are explained.
you mentioned that Krishna is really knows everything. Then why did Krishna, you mentioned that why did Krishna will never expect such things from the human when
Yeah. So that means, yeah, it's just known, says Bhakta, you are the son of Krishna. That because of course the Krishna is related because Kunti is the aunt of Krishna. And, so they are related. They are family. That Krishna is his cousin. They are family, Arjuna and Krishna. And Krishna is calling Bhakta because he's saying, so because of our family relationship, I've come your chariot. Don't misuse my friendship. I came because you had to fight. I come to assist you. And now you are going away. And I'm coming especially to help you, to assist you as a charioteer. That's not good. Therefore, it's calling Bhakta, son of Krishna. Does that make sense? That's the reason. It's calling Bhakta. Yeah.
Both parties, like his father, their father, teacher, was given consent, brothers, his in-laws, his father-in-law, his father-in-law also.
This is fathers. Right. Can you speak a little louder?
I mean, text 26.
Yeah.
Then Arjuna could see within the midst of the army of both parties, his father, grandfather, teachers, maternal uncle, brothers, son, grandsons, friends, and also his father-in-law and well-wisher. Why his father-in-law? What does it mean? Why his grandson, son, and well-wisher on his father-in-law?
Yeah, father-in-law means that Arjuna is married to Subhadra. Yes, married to Manubhai. And surely some of his father-in-laws will also be there on the battlefield. Yeah, who they are, I don't know. But, it's not.
Both sides,
Yes.
when it's not reading, it is being told that both sides, not only one side.
What do you mean with both sides?
Was looking on both sides, are doing side on side, both side.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Right, Krishna Maharaj, I was curious, since so Krishna comes once in a day of Brahma, and how do people receive this knowledge when Krishna is here to speak with people?
How did people?
How do people receive this knowledge when Krishna isn't here to speak with Gita?
It comes once in the day of Brahma. Yeah. But and it comes but normally in this day comes after proper yoga, but it comes once a day in Brahma. that not always as original Krishna, that he comes Wednesday of Brahma, but he appears also in every age. That in such a yuga came as Hansa avatar. In that's the white avatar. In Treta Yuga, he came as the Shakya avatar, the red one. And in Dwapara Yuga, he came as Krishna, black. And in Kali Yuga, he comes as Lord Chaitanya, Krishna himself in this age. But he does that in every day. And after Krishna appears, then the Lord Chaitanya appears, also, although it's not always the original one. That's mentioned. That he appears at once. Anyway, he appears also as the Lila avatars. That is other. The Lila avatars, Parade, Amande, Nishimali, the Lila avatars. So he appears in innumerable forms. It's mentioned in Rama Samhita. Ramadi, Mokshakalini. As there are waves in the ocean, the Lord appears. Because that is one of his functions, but we will hear the words of Yadaya Daidam Shaklam Bhakta Bhakta Vikram Dhanasvadam. I appear to re-establish the principles of religion when they are in line. This principle of religion is Krishna consciousness inspired by Gita. So Krishna comes to preach to us in this material world, to convince us to come back. He's very much concerned about that. But he appears spontaneously. That all. And did I answer your question?
I must not have asked it correctly.
Something else? Good. No, last question.
In this chapter, we see Dhritarashtra is saying that he's referring to the Kauravas as my son. And we also see this is one of Arjuna's excuses, as if he's seeing things according to my family, things like that. So it seems like they're having similar concepts like that. So it's for Arjuna, I guess, Yogamaya is that really different.
Yeah, due to the Dhritarashtra is completely in the body conception of life. Mamaka Pandavashiva is concerned about his sons. He wants them to get victory because he's very much attached to him. Because he's frustrated, because he's blind. He could not take the position of the Kshatriya king and rule, although he was the eldest. Because he was blind, it was given to Pandu, and he's frustrated by that. And he wants to put this straight. He wants to rule through his sons. But Arjuna is also in the body conception of life, but he doesn't have the same attachment as Dhritarashtra. He's a pure devotee of Krishna, and his heart is pure. But Krishna orchestrates the whole thing and brings in this attachment to his heart and his body conception. But as we have seen now, it's not pure, it's very strange for Arjuna that Krishna forces him to act in that way. Because in his heart is pure. And the reasons he gives are quite good, but still Krishna wants him to cooperate with him and forces him to enter in his body concept. So there's still a large difference between Dhritarashtra and Arjuna. And Dhritarashtra is under Maya, the material energy. And he's brought, Arjuna is brought under revelation by Krishna, under yoga, spiritual energy, so that he can speak Bhagavad Gita, so that Arjuna can express his doubts, the doubts of the conditioned souls, which we are. And Krishna is, and we have these doubts, but Krishna is speaking about us. And so he's going to bring Arjuna out of illusion. If we hear Krishna's instructions, now very serious, we also come out of it. That's a part. Thank you very much. We continue tomorrow at 7 with the next chapter. Jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Prabhupada ki